Hi, this video is going to be completely just random. I'm well aware my fringe is wonky. I've had to cut it myself and I've done a really bad job, but I daren't take any more off it because it'll just go to shit. This all started last night when me and my mum were watching Eggheads. When my mum says, "It's just not the same since CJ left." Me being me, can't think of who CJ is. I was like, "Who's CJ?" She tried to describe him, I couldn't picture him, so I googled him. Now this is CJ. While googling him to try and find this image, I saw some articles about him which included the words murder and sexual assault. Now naturally, being obsessed with crime, I was like, I need to look into this. So I've done some research. I apologise if anything that I say in this video is incorrect or misinformed. I've done my best to fact check everything and go to multiple sources, and if I've missed anything out, please let me know, but this is what I managed to find about the life and crimes of CJ. So Connor Joseph de Mooi is his full name, and he was born on the 5th of November 1969, which currently makes him 50 years old. He was born in Barnsley in Yorkshire, here in the UK, and he was actually born with the name Andrew Paul Booth. He grew up in Rotherham for all of his childhood, and he even attended college in Rotherham, where he studied English and Performing Arts. Now, he's since said that at a young age he realised that he had a very good memory, and that at the ages of 8 and 9 he would often just read the dictionary and encyclopedias just for fun. He's also stated that he grew to dislike school when he realised that they weren't actually teaching him, they were just teaching him how to pass exams. So he took it into his own hands and started learning outside of school for the fun of it. So he had a passion for educating himself and learning from a very young age. So in a YouTube video that he uploaded himself, he described his childhood as severely abusive, and in an interview with the Daily Mirror, he elaborated on this and claimed that his household growing up was violent, racist and homophobic. So subsequently he ran away at the age of 17 to escape this household, and he ended up being homeless for a few months. During this time he decided he was going to travel to London. So he travelled from up north right the way down to London, and then from London he caught a ferry to Amsterdam. He stayed there for a little while, and then from Amsterdam he moved to Cologne in Germany because he wanted to pursue a modelling career. And he actually did. He had a chance encounter with somebody in a gay club and ended up having a 4.5-year modelling career, which to me is pretty successful. So during this time while he was modelling in Cologne is when he decided to change his name. He was still currently named Andrew Paul Booth. He decided to change his name to Connor Joseph de Mooi, and he chose this just because he didn't want to be associated with his family anymore. He chose de Mooi. De Mooi apparently means the pretty in Dutch and is a pretty common surname in Holland from what I could find. So he eventually came back to England, he settled down, and in 2000 he applied for and appeared on countless quiz shows. So shows such as The Weakest Link, Countdown, 15 to 1, and a lot of others, but I can't memorise them all. He got a reputation for being incredibly outspoken, and when he was on The Weakest Link and he got kicked off, you know, he lost basically, he threw a temper tantrum and started shouting at all the other contestants, saying that it was clear that they were all idiots. He has since came out and said that it was actually pre-planned and that he had sort of scripted this tirade that he would go on to get himself some attention. So yeah, do with that what you will. So in 2003 he first appeared on Eggheads, which is the show that I was watching with my mum. Now, Eggheads is a quiz show where a team of people who have won countless quizzes go against a team of challengers that try and beat them, basically. That's all it is. And he was part of the original 5. Now, this show airs 5 days a week, but all of the filming was done on one day, and they'd film from like 8 till 8. And then every other day that he wasn't filming, he would spend just reading and preparing and studying. He left the show in 2011 in order to pursue an acting career, but he did return in 2014 to replace a fellow egghead called Daphne, who was retiring due to old age. In 2015, he decided he would release an autobiography. Now, this was a book called My Journey from the Streets to the Screens, and it was quite candid and detailed, which would later come to bite him in the butt. So now we're in January 2016. He gets accused of sexually assaulting a 23-year-old man in a Glasgow nightclub. He apparently spent 5 hours in a police cell. He was questioned and 3 months later the charges were dropped and proven to be false. Despite the fact that they were false, the same day that the charges got dropped, CJ was dismissed from Eggheads. So through anger and a need to speak out, he decided he would publicly name his accuser. This is an issue. In England, we have a statute called the Sexual Offences Amendment Act 1992. This provides victims of sexual assault a lifetime of anonymity, and him deciding to name his accuser breaches that act. But then there's the argument of the offence occurred, alleged offence, occurred in Scotland, where this act doesn't apply. Either way, his accuser decided to sue him. So, he then gets into a lengthy legal battle. When this legal battle is over and he's paid all of his fees, he decided he would move to South Africa because he was struggling to find work here. In the same year, we're still in 2016, September 21st, he lands in Heathrow. He's returning from South Africa from filming. He's arrested at the airport. Westminster Magistrates Court had received an arrest warrant from Holland. Do you remember when I said you got a ferry to Amsterdam? So the warrant was for the offences of manslaughter, murder, assault and battery that occurred in Amsterdam in 1988. Quick little fact for you, assault and battery in the British legal system. So battery is the act of using unlawful force against another human, and assault is the act of causing someone else to apprehend immediate unlawful force. So in that autobiography that he released a year earlier in 2015, he had described an altercation that he had had with a drug addict who had apparently tried to mug him and possibly had a knife. The police said that they had tried to question Mooi 6 months previously, but he had refused to cooperate, and so they'd had no choice but to issue a European arrest warrant. Not looking good. So in this autobiography, he had fully admitted that he punched this man in the head and pushed him into the canal. He then admitted in an interview when he was promoting this book, he said, and I quote, "I fully suspect I killed him." CJ, what are you doing? So the Dutch police confirmed that they do pull several bodies out of the canal every single year, and there are many reasons that the bodies end up in there. For example, a drunken accident, a suicide, or an attack. They also said that they cannot for sure link the body that they pulled out of the canal in 1988 to Mooi. So now enter Eric Slot. Now Eric Slot is a founder of a company called Murder Atlas. Murder Atlas is a Dutch database that tracks all of the killings that happen in Amsterdam. So Eric Slot, the founder of this database, spoke to a Dutch newspaper, and he said that he believes that a man called Norbert Dijktil, hope I'm pronouncing that right, Norbert Dijktil could be the victim of Mooi. So he confirmed that the body of Dijktil was recovered from the canal in 1988. In his post-mortem, it was revealed that he was alive when he fell into the canal and that he subsequently died of drowning. It was also confirmed that he had sustained head injuries thought to be caused by a blow from a blunt object, possibly a fist. So it seems to be stacking up against CJ at this point. So Eric Slot also acknowledged that while there were several other bodies that were recovered from the canal that year, that was the only body that had a head injury and had died in the canal. So it was the only body that matched up with CJ's confession. So it seems to me pretty cut and dry that this is probably the man that CJ had punched. So now we're back to the trial that was taking place when they had received his arrest warrant. He had a lawyer called Chris Stevens. Now Chris Stevens pointed out during this hearing that there was a lot missing from this arrest warrant. In fact, the arrest warrant didn't contain a name of a victim, a date of birth of a victim, or even a specific location where this alleged incident happened. He argued that based on that, they had no grounds to be arresting him. If you don't even know who the victim is, how can you be arresting him? He said that the entire arrest warrant was based on something that might have happened, and also that if it did happen, it would have been self-defense anyway, because he was going to be mugged and he had a knife. Now, I think that is a fair point. In that moment, I don't know how I would have reacted either, but I do know that I probably wouldn't be bragging about it in an autobiography or saying in interviews that I suspect I killed him. And I also wouldn't write about that if it wasn't true. So saying it might have happened as a defence seems a bit unlikely to me. Why would you write about that if it wasn't true? I mean, why would you write about it if it was? You're incriminating yourself. But why would you write about it if it wasn't even true? It makes no sense. Either way, the warrant got dismissed on the 24th of October 2016. The judge dismissed it on technical grounds, stating that an arrest warrant shouldn't have even been issued. And although they had an admission in his book, there was no proof, DNA, any real evidence to link Mooi to Dykdal, or anybody who was found in the canal. There was no real substantial evidence other than the fact that Mooi wrote that he pushed somebody into a canal and several bodies a year are pulled from that same canal. Now, to some that might seem like justice isn't really served, but in our legal system they take the view that it is worse for one innocent person to go to prison than it is for 10 guilty people to walk free. So they would rather err on the side of not guilty. It also has to be proved beyond all reasonable doubt. Now, to me, there is a lot of reasonable doubt. There's nothing to link Mooi to Dykdal. You can't say beyond all reasonable doubt that that was the man that Mooi pushed into the canal. You just can't say that. Should he have punched a man and pushed him into the canal? No. But can we prove that this was the man? Also no. Mooi has came out since and said that the Dutch authorities actually apologised to him. So in October 2018, Mooi was actually declared bankrupt, with his only asset now being his house. In 2019, he started a GoFundMe to help with his bankruptcy, and he also, around the same time, announced that he had actually been struggling with AIDS since 1989. Now obviously he'd had it for a long time, but he said that in the recent months he had been very ill and had been in and out of hospital. He currently lives in Wales with his civil partner, spouse, who is a costume designer. He seems to be living an okay life. However, he does say that all of these false allegations against him have meant that it's impossible for him to find work. And now this man is ill, he's in danger of losing his house, and he can't find work. And I think that's pretty sad. And it's a failing of the justice system, in my opinion. You know, innocent until proven guilty, except he was never proven guilty but isn't treated as an innocent. Let me know what you think in the comments. We can have a little chat about whether we think he should be able to work still or anything like that. And if I've missed anything about him, please let me know. I love learning about crimes and people's lives. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a bit different, but yeah, I really enjoyed this.